Hi folks, welcome back to the Hoard. For some people it matters to them what year is my snowblower, what year is this engine, what is not. Anyway, so I have a Cub Cadet right here, and it's a 10 horsepower, and I showed you guys before that it's a 1030E. It's got a little rust and all, and I'm actually thinking it's in pretty decent shape considering how old it is. And to determine the year, it's not fall off a log easy. I started out by trying to decode this number here, and quite honestly I did not get a real definitive answer from the internet to what year the body was built. You know, I tried to decode these numbers. I mean, given that it's, you know, it meets the safety standards, you start making the assumption that it was built after 1995, right? Or around you know, just before 1995, because they wanted it to meet those safety standards so that they could sell it, right? So there, we got that. Then I started to look at the engine, and I think you guys could see it here, that this is a Tecumseh. And on that you have that DOM, and you have 61 or 6137. Now, according to the charts I've looked up, if you have 4 digits, you have to estimate the decade. So this could be an 86 or a 96. Okay? Because after the year 2004, they went to 5 digits. And when you have 5 digits, it would start like with the 05, which would mean that it was built in 2005, or 06, which would mean it was built in 2006, or a 17, which would mean it was built in 17. And then the 5 digits stand for the day it was built. So in this case, it was built day 137, which I don't know, puts it in April, May, something like that. 120, yeah, May 10th, something like that. So this was built May 10th, and chances are it was built in 1996, because once again, given that the code, that it meets the 95 manufacturing standards, it probably wasn't built in 86, it's 96. So there we have it. A couple of comments about that. So given that it's 21 years old, that it's probably got 21 winters on it, maybe, I mean, depending on if it was, yeah, let's call it 21 winters on it. The rust isn't as bad as I thought. So this metal is actually halfway decent metal. The second good thing about being a little bit older, from a Tecumseh point of view, is, you see, we have little things like adjusters on this carburetor. So chances are, you know, for adjusting how lean the mixture is or how rich it is and stuff like that, right? I just have to turn these in and out. So it'll be easier to tune this thing up and turn it into a nice running machine. And the reason why I wanted all this information is I was trying to figure out whether I was going to patch this thing or really go through the trouble of pulling the front off and doing a better job on it. There are implications about pulling the front off, little things like when you go to take these bolts out. I don't know if they're integrated into this, if they're welded on, if they're blind bolts, let's say. If they're not, they're going to be tough to put back in, right? Because you got to kind of get behind the kicker there, the back paddle, the round disc, the second stage, let's call it, and put those bolts back in. And if they are welded on, should they snap off, that's another implication, because then you got to grind them flat, drill them out, put the same bolt on and weld it back on, and then, you know, put it, so it just leads to more work. I mean, they're rusty, but they don't look horrible, right? As you look at them, I think if I hit them with PB Blaster or something like that a few times, not just once and try, you know, like hit them and go away, hit them and go away, and do that for perhaps a week, that they would probably come apart. Yeah, I think, once again, given the battle I had last winter with snow blowing the driveway, I think I'm going to go through the trouble of putting the time and effort into this machine, try to set it up right. It does have some miles on it, right? Looks like the skidder here, I think it should be wider. I think that's actually worn right off there. I didn't notice one on the other side. Oh, no, it's gone. It's worn. It's worn right off. So yeah, this thing will need some love and attention, and I wouldn't be surprised as once I get it apart if I don't have to put a patch on it somewhere, especially, you know, you start grinding the rust, perhaps in the back there, I might end up having to, you know, weld up a little patch. The cutting edge looks surprisingly good. That front edge really looks pretty good. I mean, there's a little wear on that side. That side, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think this is worth the trouble. You know, you look at the kicker. You see how much space is in between here? I mean, I could put my finger in between there. So I'm gonna go through the trouble. I gotta make sure I put those wipers or auger extenders or whatever one wants to call those little rubber wipers that belong on here, because I want this thing to be the best snowblower it could be. I don't want those surprises. On one side, yeah, I'm not thinking that's the right bolt for that either. For those of you who say, what's the big deal? The big deal is if the bolt doesn't break off when you hit something hard. Something else breaks, and let me give you a hint of what that is. And it's much cheaper to put a bolt that snaps off in it than to put a gearbox in it. And what does it take for that to happen? Quite honestly, you could have somebody visit you, right, even perhaps on the end of the driveway, you know, make a U-turn or something, and as they back in and all, a hunk of ice falls off their vehicle, a nice rock solid hunk of ice falls off their vehicle, then you're snow blowing the end of the driveway and you inhale that, right? And once again, it's much easier to do a shear pin than it is to have to replace that gearbox. Alright, I'm calling this a 1996 Cub Cadet 10E30E. And if somebody has more information than that, when they decode this thing or this thing, please share it with all of us. It's not quite snowblower season yet, though. I have a buddy up in Beecher Falls, Hillbilly Homestead. Cool guy, by the way. Go check out his videos. Anyway, he says they're probably only 4 weeks from snow. So, you know, for all of us, it's coming. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you all for watching my videos, taking the time to comment. Love the thumbs up. Love the comments, love the information you guys share with me. Folks, remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.